One day, my 11-year-old daughter, Willow, came to me and said, "Mommy, did you know that there were girls my age in the United States that are being trafficked for sex?" And I didn't.
CNN just torched Jada Pinkett Smith as Diddy's hidden lieutenant, and the fallout could drag the entire Smith dynasty into courtroom chaos. That single on-air line flipped Hollywood's squeakiest clean power couple into prime suspects on the very same news cycle that previewed Sean Diddy Combs' May 5th, 2025 sex trafficking trial. In less than 5 minutes, the chatter swung from red carpet glam to Rico panic, and suddenly, every blurry rumor about Jada will open marriages and midnight parties looked like a breadcrumb in a scandalous trail.
When you were dating J-Lo, Will Smith and Jada tried to pick her up on a threesome and you were gonna beat up Will Smith. Is that true? Yeah, I watched it on the internet. You're telling me I can't believe everything I read?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The story about how Puffy wanted to fight Will Smith over Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, man. We were at a birthday party that I think either Matt Damon was giving for Ben Affleck. It was just a little gathering. It was at the Four Seasons. Will Smith and his sister and her husband, we were all sitting on this side of the room. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez, Puff, Will Smith, and Jada, and it was sitting on the other side of the room. So I know Puff so well that he stood up. When he stood up, he walked and did his arm some kind of way, like, and then he went like this, you know, like that. I went over towards him. I know to go over there towards him. So I go over towards him, and he said to me, he said, "Yo, I think Will and Jada is trying to scoop up Jennifer. I want you to stay close, because I'm going to snuff him." I said to myself, Will Smith gonna beat the shot you. Now, Puff could scrap now, but I don't think he could beat Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? Well, he can scrap. You know what I'm saying? So then he said this. So I didn't go back over there where Will Smith's sister and her husband was. I stayed about, if he snuffed Will, I could move slow enough that Will could probably get 2 or 3 punches back in. Yeah, but that was funny. He thought that Jada and Will was coming on too strong to Jennifer, making advances.
The thing about Pac, stuff was always jumping off. It was always popping. So Pac was cool with, I'm coming to your spot, you can meet me at my spot over here, but it wasn't any like, we're going, come to the club with me, go to the, that was a no-no. I was really concerned about it. We went up there to see Pac. He was still in jail when he told me, and he said that he was gonna sign with Suge, because Pac had been waiting. Because of the nature of his charges, he was like, these men need to come get me, specifically these men who are making money off of me. We were like, we'll get you out of here, we'll raise the money, and we're here, we'll get you out.
Yeah, it's back.
And he was like, no. So with Suge, he felt like, look, this is, I owe him 3 albums, and I'm done.
It is not your responsibility to make your wife happy, right? Just like it's not my wife's responsibility to make me happy. It's my responsibility to make me happy, and it's her responsibility to make her happy, and then we're gonna come together and build on that happiness.
Will Smith is continuing to get candid about his marriage to Jada Pinkett Smith.
Back in 2012, long before Red Table Talk hijacked the internet, 11-year-old Willow Smith interrupted breakfast with a question that froze her mother mid-sip. "Mom, did you know girls my age are being trafficked for sex in the United States?" Jada felt the floor tilt. Within weeks, she plunged into documentaries, lobbied Congress, and co-produced CNN's Children for Sale. In Washington, she framed herself as the guardian of minors, the celebrity who would fight monsters while the cameras rolled. Yet as applause echoed through the Capitol, a different predator lurked in her Hollywood orbit, one with mansions, private jets, and a guest list that wrapped around the block. But that wasn't the whole story.
Anything that I need to make myself happy, I will present that to my wife that I need that to be happy. Divorce is not an option. We're gonna be together. So we're gonna figure out how to be happy.
I got into a different kind of entanglement with August. One thing I wanna get clear about and clean up, one of the things that was kind of swirling in the press about you giving permission, which is, the only person that could give permission in that particular circumstance is myself.
Yes. A relationship.
Yes, it was a relationship, absolutely. I was in a lot of pain and I was very broken. Now, in the process of that relationship, I definitely realized that you can't find happiness outside of yourself.
Will explains to the mag, in part, quote, "Jada never believed in conventional marriage. And for the large part of our relationship, monogamy was what we chose, not thinking of monogamy as the only relational perfection."
I actually sat down with Will and had a conversation. He gave me his blessing. I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life. And I truly and really, really deeply loved and have a ton of love for her.
Throughout the mid-2010s, Jada and Will became fixtures at bad boy soirees, velvet rope marathons, where Sean Combs handpicked who stayed past sunrise. When Homeland Security raided Diddy's Los Angeles and Miami estates on March 25, 2024, the gossip blogs yanked those old party photos back online, captioning them. Smoking gun selfies, CNN's later commentary cemented the narrative, dubbing Jada a minion enlisted to help polish Combs' image, just as civil suits piled up. Industry insiders whispered she handled friendly fire favors, a strategic tweet here, a charity gala co-host there. Whenever Diddy's reputation dipped, to the public, she was still the anti-trafficking hero. Behind studio gates, she looked more like damage control, and what happened next would shock everyone.
You can't expect it to be easy. It's like our marriage was the most difficult, grueling, and excruciating thing that we've ever taken on in our lives. And, we're just not quitters. And by the same token, we're not apathetic. Yeah. So we're not going to sit there and let it, be painful. We're going to keep working. And if there is a secret, I would say, is that we never went into working on our relationship. We only ever worked on ourselves individually and then presented ourselves to one another better than we were previously.
In my friend group, I'm the only polyamorous person, and I have the least out of all of my friends.
Willow Smith, this time with Willow's revelation that she's polyamorous.
This has been a journey for you, Miss Willow. How did you make this decision?
With polyamory, I feel like the main foundation is the freedom to be able to create a relationship style that works for you, and not just stepping into monogamy because that's what everyone around you says is the right thing to do.
The 20-year-old singer opened up about her perspective on polyamory relationships, helping her mom and Gammy understand her desire to have multiple intimate partners at the same time.
So I was like, how can I structure the way that I approach relationships with that in mind?
Yeah.
Also, doing research into polyamory, the main reasons why monogamous relationships or why marriage why divorces happen is infidelity.
Yeah.
Let's say you haven't always been the kind of person that wanted to have all the time, but your partner is.
Right.
Are you gonna be the person to say, you know, just because I don't have these needs, you can't have them either?
Right.
Throughout the series, all three women have maintained an open mind with topics about, and mom Jada Pinkett Smith's reaction here was no different.
How did you feel when I told you that I was polyamorous?
When you were like, hey, this is my get down, I was like, I totally get it. Wanting to set up your life in a way that you can have what it is that you want. I think anything goes as long as the intentions are clear. You know what I mean?
To everyone.
Yeah. Most people are practicing monogamy because they feel like they have no other choice.
Right.
We all know that most people out here doing unethical non-monogamy any damn way.
And that many people still believe in monogamous relationships.
There's comfort in that it provides to almost like a social order.
Yes.
To life and setting boundaries and commitments. I guess I'm not really clear on what it offers you.
Could you imagine being in a group and loving everyone equally?
No.
Whether it be platonic or not? Wow, well then I don't know what to say.
That's because of GAM's ideas around.
Rewind to the early 2000s. Bodyguard turned whistleblower Gene Deal recalls a quiet birthday gathering in a Beverly Hills hotel lounge. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez, and separated by an aisle, the Smiths. According to Deal, Diddy suddenly stiffened, muttered that Will and Jada were trying to scoop up Jennifer, and vowed to snuff Will if the flirting didn't stop. Deal claims he lingered nearby in case punches flew. The fight never materialized, but the story lingered like cigar smoke, hinting at rivalry, jealousy, and the first public crack in two Hollywood empires that rarely overlapped without friction. That jealousy foreshadowed fractures the Smiths kept off camera until Jada ripped off the Band-Aid almost 20 years later, but the revelation she dropped in 2023 made that hotel scare look tame.
What are your feelings and ideas around marriage as you know it today?
The history of marriage really irks me.
Yeah.
Just the history of marriage as a whole and what it has represented over the years for women in particular. I feel like the only way that I would get married is, let's say me and my partner or partners want to help people and we need to put our finances together in order to make that vision happen. That's the only way I could see myself getting married.
About this, when people come and sit here, what's that magic sauce that just makes people say, yeah, I'm gonna spill it.
Well, I guess I think it's not even so much because that's never our intention.
Yeah,
exactly. You know, we just always want to have just real conversations, and so I think it's we're in the conversation with you.
Right.
Yeah. We're sharing our stories. We're sharing our experiences. It's a safe space for vulnerability.
What does it mean to love in freedom?
The simple idea is it's friendship versus marital prison.
Ooh. Does
Right.
that mean you all can have other partners, but you just have to be respectful with each other?
So people only think in terms of sex. People are trying to put something on it. Will and Jada, what they doing with other people?
Yeah.
Right? Will and Jada ain't really doing too much of nothing. The goal is not an actual goal. We're gonna love each other
No matter what.
In October 2023, Jada's memoir, Worthy, dropped a grenade she and Will had secretly separated in 2016, yet continued red carpet appearances as if nothing had changed. Fans reeled. Critics called it method acting marriage. Will's own 2021 GQ profile resurfaced, where he championed trust and freedom over conventional monogamy, and even sketched a teenage fantasy of traveling the globe with a 20-woman harem, an idea an intimacy coach eventually convinced him would be horrific. When Red Table Talk aired the infamous Entanglement confession with singer August Alsina, social feeds exploded with memes. But in October 2023, Jada's memoir, Worthy, dropped a grenade she and Will had secretly separated in 2016, yet continued red carpet appearances as if nothing had changed. Fans reeled. Critics called it method acting marriage. Will's own 2021 GQ profile resurfaced, where he championed trust and freedom over conventional monogamy, and even sketched a teenage fantasy of traveling the globe with a 20-woman harem, an idea an intimacy coach eventually convinced him would be horrific. When Red Table Talk aired the infamous Entanglement confession with singer August Alsina, social feeds exploded with memes, but beneath the jokes lay a blueprint, an arrangement loosely defended as radical honesty, yet begging one question: who else mixed into that private freedom? And just when viewers thought they understood unconventional things, the Smiths opened an entirely new portal.
I got into a different kind of entanglement.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes.
Was that hard for you sitting there?
No. It's like, no.
How long were you all actually separated? Was it months or years?
We never actually, officially separated. We agreed that she had to make herself happy and I had to make myself happy. And then we were going to present ourselves back to the relationship.
We ride together.
We die together.
Bad marriage for life. I got into a different kind of entanglement.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes.
Was that hard for you sitting there?
No. It's like, no.
How long were you all actually separated? Was it months or years?
We never actually, officially separated. We agreed that she had to make herself happy and I had to make myself happy. And then we were going to present ourselves back to the relationship.
We ride together.
We die together.
Bad marriage for life.
These were spectacular.
It ended up being a lot more complex than that, Oprah.
You just feel like it ain't really nobody's business. Yeah. But now Black Twitter has claimed it as their business.
But,
I think you need to say clearly what happened.
As far as what?
You and I decided we were going to take our space, and what happened? An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship. Now, in the process, and you and I were also going through a process of healing in a much different manner. I would definitely say we did. And it all started with, me wanting to help his health, his mental state.
Because for me, that was the thing when Og first came around, he was really sick.
He was really sick, yeah.
And the outpouring for him from our family was initially about his health.
Yeah. And we found, and from there,
Yeah.
And we decided.
I was done with you.
You kicked me to the curb.
I was done with you.
Yeah.
Marriages have that, though. Marriages have that.
Yeah,
we decided that we were going to figure out how to make yourself happy, and I'll figure out how to make myself happy.
Well,
I really felt like we could be over. And then what did you do, Jada?
Well, I think from there, as time went on with August.
I launched into an interaction. What do you feel like you were looking for?
It had been, and it was, I think that has a lot, which is another thing that I had to learn to break in this cycle, just that idea of needing to fix and being drawn, whether it's your health or whether it's your addictions. There's something about fixing people versus, and taught me that.
Because I wasn't sure I was ever going to speak to you again.
I know.
Yeah, the fact that I'm speaking to you again is a miracle.
I would agree.
There's just certain things that you have to go through, and it's like.
And I wish. I do. I wish that wasn't the case.
I sure wish it could be all magic and miracles.
Yeah. You got to go, and I'm just happy.
There's a real power in the just knowing somebody's riding with you no matter what. You can't know that
until you go
through some stuff, I don't want to go through this no more. I'm going to get you back first.
I think we're good on that, okay?
Okay, that's probably true.
And I don't think it's about.
No, for me it is.
I'll give you that petty if that's what you want. But, you know, I will definitely say, you know.
25 years and counting.
We die together. Bad marriage for life.
That's terrible.
But yeah, it's just.
I told you the first year we were married, I can love you through anything.
And I didn't believe you.
Yeah.
Jada says 10 years of crippling depression nudged her toward magic mushrooms, a plant remedy she credits with demolishing her darkest thoughts and showing why I got there in the first place. Will hunting spiritual clarity drank ayahuasca 14 times in Peru and called one vision the most hellish experience of his life. In June 2023, their son Jaden stood on stage at Denver's Psychedelic Science Conference and casually confirmed, "It was my mom who took the first step for the family plant journeys might heal the soul, but they also blur boundaries." Critics argued that public psychedelic endorsements from a family with teen fans walked perilously close to Jada says 10 years of crippling depression nudged her toward magic mushrooms, a plant remedy she credits with demolishing her darkest thoughts and showing why I got there in the first place. Will hunting spiritual clarity drank ayahuasca 14 times in Peru and called one vision the most hellish experience of his life. In June 2023, their son Jaden stood on stage at Denver's Psychedelic Science Conference and casually confirmed, "It was my mom who took the first step for the family plant journeys might heal the soul, but they also blur boundaries." Critics argued that public psychedelic endorsements from a family with teen fans walked perilously close to glamorizing illegal substances. Meanwhile, investigators tracing Diddy's alleged drug-fueled parties widened their net, and any overlap now raised eyebrows. While the Smiths chased enlightenment, federal agents chased private jets.
Thought I was that I didn't have the girth that it was going to take to ride with you through.
Yeah, I didn't know.
How am I doing? All right.
You're awesome. When we said we wanted to bring him to the table, I was like, well, what do you want to talk about? He said, mushrooms.
Yeah. Yeah.
The magic kind, of course.
Yeah.
Jaden Smith joins his mom, Jada Pinkett Smith, and grandma, Adrienne Banfeld Norris, on Red Table Talk. And they're talking magic mushrooms, people.
But since it's my mom, it's like, you know, it's my mom. We're working together.
On the latest episode of the Facebook Watch series, the fam talks about the plant medicine that some say is a miracle treatment for mental health.
I was introduced to plant medicine 10 years ago to deal with my depression. Yeah. And it knocked it out.
Something Jada says she can speak to from personal experience.
What it does, unlike just going to therapy and putting people on Prozac, right? Which I did that too.
Which that is not successful for so many people.
And that's the thing. So for me, I had struggled with depression for so long. You know, I mean, crippling depression. So the thing about the plant medicine is that not only does it help you feel better, but it helps you solve the problems of how you got there in the first place.
As for Jaden, he says recent studies that touted mushrooms as one of the most significant advances in treating depression over more traditional antidepressants inspired his use of psychedelics.
It started as pure curiosity.
Yeah.
The 23-year-old added that he started using the drugs out of curiosity, and doing so led to his understanding of what ego was for the first time.
It was always in my head talking, telling me what I was and what I wasn't. And for the first time, I had like a ego dissolution where I was like, that was the moment that really changed me. You get to a place in your life where you're blocked by something, whether it's a trauma, whether it's your emotions, your ego, not being able to express yourself. And then I feel like psychedelics are a way to tear down that wall and see what's beyond it. Doing it guided with people that are professionals, I feel like really increases the chances of having that mystical experience.
Highlighted on March 25th, 2024, Homeland Security agents flooded Combs' Holmby Hills and Star Island estates, seizing devices and firearms as part of a sex trafficking probe. By September, a grand jury added racketeering and prostitution charges. A third superseding indictment arrived in January 2025. Prosecutors scheduled jury selection for May 5th in the Southern District of New York, signaling they had more than rumors, CNN. then broadcast security camera footage of Diddy assaulting former partner, Cassie, evidence a judge allowed, despite defense objections. Suddenly, the same network that once highlighted Jada's activism now looped her name under a banner that read, Combs. Conspiracy web talk show panels speculated whether party guest lists could morph into witness lists, and deep inside Calabasas, panic set in.
Since psychedelics are still illegal, Jaden says it's important to be guided by a professional, which the table agrees is the only way some people can feel safe enough to leave themselves in such a vulnerable position.
You gotta wanna do it. This is not play.
Yeah.
And you gotta be really willing to confront some hard stuff.
Yeah.
And it's very healing, and it's changed my life.
Jada has been open about her struggle with depression in the past.
Something, and for me, that just was never, I'm really a free spirit at heart. I really am. And I always have been. And I just felt like my life had got constricted into this little box. And it was strangling me, basically. It broke my heart when I heard her talking about it. Really, just that whole period, I had no idea. Because I really had to figure out a lot of things for myself, and I didn't want to burden anyone.
Of course, the Smiths are no strangers to getting candid and leaving it all out on the table, something the 50-year-old actress told ET is important to her.
It takes practice to have those difficult conversations with kindness and consideration. And it's just something that we have to continue to practice, because if we don't talk about it, we're not gonna get to the other side. We're just gonna, things are just gonna stay in the cracks and fester. So the more that we can bring these difficult subjects to light and talk about it, the more we can purify these subjects and bring them into something new. And so that's why it's important for me too.
Which that is not successful for so many people. And that's the thing. So for me, I had struggled with depression for so long. Crippling depression. So the thing about the plant medicine is that not only does it help you feel better, but it helps you solve the problems of how you got there in the first place.
Meanwhile, during an episode of My Next Guest Needs No Introduction in 2022, Will told David Letterman that around 2011, he did ayahuasca 14 times over a 2-year period.
I realized that anything that happens in my life, I can handle it. I can handle any person I lose. I can handle anything that goes wrong in my life. I can handle anything in my marriage. I can handle anything that this life has to offer me.
As for Jaden's takeaway, according to USA Today, he continued, siblings can argue so much and fight so much. And Lord knows, me and my siblings have done so much of that in the past. But the level of love and empathy that I can feel for them inside of the psychedelic experiences and outside of the experiences has been something that's profound and beautiful. Will also shares son Trey with ex-wife Cherie Zampino.
I love Justin Bieber, but that's just a fact.
Well, talk about brotherly love. You couldn't miss this moment on your feeds. Justin Bieber giving pal Jada Smith a kiss on the cheek at Coachella.
I'm having a good time.
Guess who? Jay Smith and JB. I got you, little bro.
That's 16.
Go through things, you know what I'm saying? But the difference between other people is that no one knows about it. You know what I'm saying? And it's really difficult for people like Justin.
It's cool to just collaborate with people who you know.
I will never say never, never say never.
I've gotten to a place where I have like a core group and people who are really supporting me and encouraging me. And I never had that before. You know, I never created those type of relationships. So now it feels like I have so much.
I honestly just love him and like what he's doing, like, and the amount of change he's been able to make in the world is just insane. Life is hard, you know, we all go through things, you know what I'm saying? But the difference between other people is that no one knows about it. You know what I'm saying? And it's really difficult for people like Justin, for me, for all types of people in the limelight.
Justin and Jaden clearly unapologetic about the bond they've created over the years.
I think that he's amazing. Like, honestly,
You don't need no other body.
The Biebs joined Tim's and WizKid's Sunday night to perform their collab Essence with LA radio station 102.7 Kiss FM, sharing footage on the gram.
Got a rhythm on your heartbeat. It's not for me. It's all that you want.
He's just really sweet. He's a good heart, and I love him.
The insiders whisper that within hours of the raid, Jada ordered a digital purge. Phones scrubbed cloud backups locked behind new passphrases. Production on Red Table Talk halted indefinitely, citing creative realignment. PR consultants floated a second memoir to reframe her relationship with Combs before prosecutors framed it for her. None of these moves prove guilt, but in a city that equates secrecy with scandal optics can be lethal. Fans who once praised her congressional testimony now re-examined every selfie from those bad boy nights. Could the anti-trafficking champion have missed or ignored warning signs? The irony hit like a bass drop the louder she spoke for victims, the deeper her silence on Diddy now echoed. So what do we learn when private liberties collide with public accountability?
Telling me what I was and what I wasn't. And then I feel like psychedelics are a way to tear down that wall and see what's beyond it.
But now, speculation is swirling that she may have introduced Jaden to them at an early age, in 2024.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
These serious charges have shaken the entertainment industry to its core.
Telling me what I was and what I wasn't. And then I feel like psychedelics are a way to tear down that wall and see what's beyond it.
But now, speculation is swirling that she may have introduced Jaden to them at an early age.
Of how you got there in the first place.
I've never met another person that I connect with in conversation.
I was introduced to plant medicine 10 years ago to deal with my depression. Yeah. And it knocked it out. For me, I had struggled with depression for so long. You know, I mean, crippling depression. So the thing about the plant medicine is that not only does it help you feel better, but it helps you solve the problems of how you got there in the first place.
Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital.
That you were...
I've never met another person that I connect with in conversation more blissfully and productively than Jada.
All have been...
And from Willow's breakfast shock to Diddy's booking photo, the timeline looks almost scripted. Activism, jealousy, separation, psychedelics, federal raids. Maybe Jada is an unlucky bystander caught in friendly fire. Maybe prolonged proximity breeds complicity. What's undeniable is the cost of double lives. How a single leaked text, a single subpoena, can flip decades of curated image into a court exhibit. As Diddy's jury assembles on May 5th, Hollywood will hold its breath. Will the trial drag Jada onto the witness stand? Will Willow's childhood plea for exploited children echo back in a federal indictment that names her mother's friend as the architect of exploitation? One thing is certain, every glamorous facade conceals a maintenance bill, and the overdue notice just arrived.
Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital.
That you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
right,
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
yes,
y'all have been...
Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez, Puff, Will Smith, and Jada, and it was sitting on the other side. I think Will and Jada is trying to scoop up Jennifer. I want you to stay close, because I'm a snuffer.
Drop your take below. Is Jada a casualty of someone else's crimes, or proof that silence can equal sanction? Smash that subscribe button so you never miss the next reveal, because court transcripts don't drop trailers, and what surfaces after opening statements could rewrite Hollywood history in real time. Until then, stay curious, stay critical, and keep it real.